Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. A couple of really good articles I want to discuss today. XRP was created before use case for crypto asset was discovered, says the Ripple CTO. Ripple's Chief Technology Officer David Schwartz is offering new insight on how XRP came into existence. And on the Modern CTO podcast, Schwartz says XRP was created before its developers had any idea what its primary use case would be. Well, the key difference and the very first animating idea for what eventually became what we now call the XRP ledger was the proof of work. The mining in Bitcoin wasn't the secret sauce, and we had an alternate theory. And our theory was that what made Bitcoin so amazing was not the proof of work, not mining. What made Bitcoin so amazing was the fact that all the data was public and all the transaction rules were public. So you don't have to ask anybody else if a transaction is valid or if somebody has a particular amount of Bitcoins or anything. Everybody can do that for themselves. We felt that it was the key innovations to Bitcoin. So we replaced the proof of work with what you would call a distributed agreement algorithm, which is an algorithm that is faster and doesn't have the sort of power consumption. And after XRP was built, Schwartz says, the next step became to figure out how it could be used. Once you say, okay, we've built this new system that works, the next question to logically ask is, was it good for? What are its advantages? And sometimes it might have no advantages. If you invented a new material but it's really heavy, really expensive, makes water damages, it's not very sturdy. Oh well, I've developed this new material but I can't find a use case. It's kind of the reverse. Usually you start with the use case, but then when you're building something totally new, you have no idea what people are going to use it for. All you can do is build it and see what it's good for. Schwartz says Ripple ultimately decided XRP would be used for international payments given its speed, low transaction costs, and significant amount of issues plaguing the current banking system. The use case that we settled on was payments, particularly international payments, simply because that's where there's pain. So you want to find a problem that people agree is a problem. And ideally, the worst problem, the less perfect you have to be better than whatever they've got. International payments were so bad that particular things like remittances were just so bad that we could still be pretty bad and still be better. When you're just starting out, people are going to have to take a risk. What if the whole system breaks one day? Or what if regulations destroy it? You want to pick a problem that is really painful for people, and payments are really painful. If you compare spending a payment to sending an email, you know you could make a long list of all the differences. So that was sort of the direction that we launched on. And the next article that I'd like to discuss is 85% of Italian banks are exchanging interbank transfer data on Corda. Banks across Italy are using R3's Corda blockchain to vastly speed the process of double-checking transaction logs. Before Spunta, each bank had its own software for exchanging data related to interbank transfers, said Demetrio Migliorati, the head of blockchain at Banca Mediolanum. Using Corda for data exchanges between banks was also lower stakes than moving fiat between banks on a blockchain. If we failed in this process, the worst thing that could happen was to have a problem in the information exchange between banks. Adonisio said, and clients are not affected. The companies are not affected. It was a natural sandbox. The association did consider a centralized database as opposed to Corda, but wasn't open to having banks keep data on separate ledgers at each bank. Experimenting with something small like data exchange between banks also allows Italian banks to experiment with other use cases. Some banks have begun experimenting with sharing Know Your Customer (KYC) information and guarantees of credit on Spanta. If we want to do something new for Spanta, we change it immediately, and it is changed for all banks, said Migliorati. Another article I'd like to discuss is Plair announces a new partnership with ShareRing. Plair welcome ShareRing to the VeChain ecosystem. Plair will integrate its token as a payment method within ShareRing's ecosystem of products, including hotels, car rentals, tours, EVOA, applications, insurance, and so much more. The importance of partnerships that extend beyond the current ecosystem is important for acceleration of growth of blockchain technologies. The expansion of Plair's token utility makes sense in terms of expanding the market that Plair can reach. After all, who doesn't travel? To further support the VeChain ecosystem, Plair has also partnered up with ShareRing, I believe using Plair and VET to expand across into other platforms is the fastest way to grow the blockchain ecosystem. With the announcement of the VeChain partnership, working with ShareRing, it just made sense, said Patrick Tang, the CEO of Plair. Plair is always and forever dedicated to gaming and gamers' life. When an opportunity to create a working partnership with a strong project such as ShareRing came up, it was hard to turn down, especially after they formed a partnership with VeChain. The synergies were aided by the fact that VeChain community members are also part of the ShareRing community as well. And our partnership with Plair is a logical progression in working with the greater VeChain ecosystem. By working together and offering Plair as a payment method, we continue our expansion in the number of users that can leverage our services, CEO of ShareRing, Tim Boz. ShareRing is an enterprise-ready blockchain geared towards the travel, sharing, and on-demand economies and focused on the fragmented $7 trillion USD travel economy. ShareRing's travel app will create a more cohesive customer experience by bringing all the necessary activities and bookings into one ecosystem. The ShareRing app is scheduled to launch in Q3, enabling Plair token holders to use their PLA as payment methods towards 2.5 plus million hotels in 190 countries, 1.2 plus million vehicles across 150 countries, the EVOA electronic visa on arrival applications, 200,000 plus activities and tours, flights, insurance, and much more. And about Plair, Plair Vision aims to promote and facilitate gaming to the greater public through a combination of online and offline products and events. With Plair, gamers will reap the benefits that sports fans and athletes experience with accessible venues for playing, spectating, and discussing the games they love. Through Plair's decentralized gamer-focused technology, they enable the following: rewards for both video game streamers and viewers for their participation on their platform, the growth of the amateur esports scene, aiding amateur player development for professional organizations, additional DApp development through accessible open source tools, the merging of gameplay and streaming on a unified platform, and a platform that brings together the massive gaming industry and crypto community. Plair PLA is built on VeChain Thor, a public blockchain which uses VeChain Thor Energy VTHO to power transactions and smart contracts. Plair PLA is used as a utility token and store value with their partners to power the Plair platform. And VeChain Thor is a public blockchain designed for mass adoption of blockchain technology by businesses of all sizes, and this will serve as the foundation for Plair's sustainable and scalable business blockchain ecosystem. And being in the gaming industry, there is a lot of use case and a lot of room for growth there. If you know anyone who games, then you can understand how massive that opportunity is and will be. And also, as a quick follow-up with the 85% banks are exchanging interbank transfer data on Corda, we know that Corda is using XRP and Zenfin, so that should be a significant beginning for your investment in that area. And here with XRP, it's good to see, XRP, it seems, with Ripple's guidance, has changed its focus a few times, but it seems now they're beginning to find their place so that they can begin letting this asset bring investors some return on their investments. I'll leave you with a final thought. If you can't accept losing, you can't win. Remember, guys, this is not financial advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and we will catch you in the next one.